Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to CiNEMACHiNE. I'm Al, and I'm here with Brandon.
Hello there.
And Ryan couldn't make it tonight, and we really do wish him the best. He's going through some adulting tonight. It's yeah. So we'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Dave and Tony are in the house.
Hello.
What's up,
Sorry we're a
guys?
little bit late tonight. We had some life in our own personal timing get in the way, so it is what it is. Everybody understands, right? So anyway, well, Brandon, what you been up to this week? Have you had a good week? Did you watch the Super Bowl?
I did watch the Super Bowl. I didn't really pay too much attention to the game or the commercials this year. We were hosting at my house, men's group for my church, and so uh, as the host, I was a little occupied with making sure people were good and taken care of and had their needs met and whatnot. So I just kind of floated around as hosts do. And yeah, so I had to like catch up later with some of the trailers and ads and things that I missed. But go Rams.
I did not watch the Super Bowl. I saw the halftime show on YouTube later.
How's it going?
What's going up? Hey, what's going on? So 20th and 21st movies is a he's a big Criterion fella. So
Ooh,
hey, thanks for joining. I watch his videos. I'm just saying. So
nice.
yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, I didn't
You're in good
watch.
company then.
This is the first year I didn't watch the Super Bowl, and I was just like, oh, I'm gonna watch some movies instead. I was gonna go to the movies. Then I was like, I don't want to pay full price to see Belfast. It's like I've already gotten spoiled. So, and the theater's like 5 minutes away from my house, 10 minutes tops. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, so yeah. Anywho, that aside, did you
Yeah.
watch the commercials? I know you were waiting on some of the trailers to come out.
Mm-hmm.
So the
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings was the big one for you, right?
Oh, for sure. I was, and we talked about it on Cape Cast, but so I knew that the trailer was coming. So whenever it dropped, I was like in mid conversation with my pastor and just walked away to the TV and just stood there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, you're that's the only reason that saw part of the Super Bowl, was happy for the Rams, Stafford and Aaron Donald. Halftime show was good. The halftime show was good. What'd you think about the halftime show, Brandon?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I
More so
didn't.
than previous years.
Yeah, last year, wasn't the weekend last year? I think the week
Yeah, I think so.
last year it was just really bad last year. Not that his singing was bad, it was just the production of it was just really bad. He was like in that house of mirrors or whatever. But
Hmm.
yeah, I couldn't help but notice during the halftime show, since that's the only piece I saw one commercial from the uh Super Bowl as well. But and we're going to talk about it a little while, but um it's just funny how you kind of encapsulate these people at a certain time of your life. So in your mind, they're still that age. And I'm like, wow, Mary J. Blige, not the outfit for you. Like I was like, you're like pushing 60. Like, like, I mean, hey, talented, all that, but just I didn't understand that. And I thought 50 Cent was gonna like pass out hanging upside down, like his chain was hitting him in the face.
He looked like the blood was getting to his head
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
quick,
I was like, uh-oh. Cut to another shot.
a little
Um,
winded.
yeah. Eminem. Um,
What's up, Tizai?
Hi, how you doing? Yeah,
Um,
Eminem was sponsored by Just for Men, apparently. So he had
hmm,
that beard darker than I've ever seen it before. So yeah, it was good. And Dr. Dre is such a good piano player, it continues to play when he gets up from it.
Mhm.
So, that's
Noticed that.
talent. That is talent. So,
Yep.
um, it's like the Red Hot Chili Peppers a couple years ago. They didn't even have any they had no plugs into their computer. No, nothing was I mean, their computer, their, guitars, their instruments, and it was like and they were, like, rocking out. I was like, "Oh, okay." So, yeah, so,
Yeah.
uh
'Tis to be expected with a Super Bowl.
yeah, I'm interested in knowing what people think is the best Super Bowl halftime show of all time. Do you have an idea of one? I know you're
Mm.
not a big sports guy, and I text you before the game. I was like, "You'd be proud of me, Brandon. I'm not watching the Super Bowl." So,
Yeah. I don't, nothing comes to mind,
yeah,
honestly. The ones that I recall for whatever reason, I remember the Chili Peppers. I remember, and these are recently ones, I
yeah,
guess. I remember the Who.
mhm.
Um, Obviously, Janet Jackson, Justin Timberlake. That was probably the most popular one for different reasons.
Oh my
um,
gosh!
I
Were you
a
watching
clip.
that with your pastor?
Yeah. Um, there was a clip popped up in my YouTube feed of the
Mm,
Michael Jackson halftime show from
yeah,
90 something. It seemed like he was doing that Burecrest. You ever seen the Live at Burecrest show, that DVD that he put out
I don't
years
think so.
ago? We played it when I worked at Best Buy. It was like on loop, especially after he passed. They like just had it on repeat. But it seemed like it was a very similar performance to that show, from what I could tell. But yeah, I don't know. Some people in the chat were chiming in.
Okay,
Um, Prince, MJ,
okay, yeah. I mean,
Metallica, and then Coldplay, Beyonce, and Bruno Mars. So,
I thought Tom Petty was really good,
how long ago
and
was that?
uh it was within the last decade, I think. I'm pretty sure it wasn't too long ago. Um, but it was. Let's see here. Super Bowl 2042. So what year? What Super Bowl are we at? 56 or something like that.
Maybe.
So 14, maybe 14 years. 2008, 2010, something like that. So
Yeah.
not too long ago. So 12, 14 years ago. Either way, I thought his was really good. I think that you and I saw him live, and I saw him once before that even, and the guy is just was uh, he is he was just a hit factory and just knew how to
Hmm.
write a good song and knew how to touch every audience. Similar to Prince. Like I saw Prince live too, and Prince played for 3.5 hours, and it was like, okay, Prince, get it. I was like eighth row, and like eighth row center, and we walked in. He didn't have an opening act. He just had a cardboard cutout of him on stage. Like, this is where I'm gonna stand. So,
Nice.
ready for the awesomeness. And he did all the splits and everything. So I mean, there's no denying that talent. So yeah, for sure. That's one that sticks out to me. Michael Jackson, of course, and then I think one of the best national anthems. I just don't know how anybody can argue this has got to be Whitney Houston. I mean, she belted that Joker out. She became the standard after that. So,
Hmm.
um, so yeah. Anyway,
I'll
I know
take your
this
word
isn't a
for it.
sports show. Well, it's not a sports show. I know, but it's still in the entertainment realm. But let's talk about some exciting things that are coming. Okay, so we've been talking about the kind of like movie theaters. Will they close? Will they open? So on and so forth. Well, Alamo Draft House is not only opening one, they're opening 7 theaters. Still not in Atlanta. Yeah, none for us. Um,
Nope.
we're gonna have one not too far from us though in Birmingham. So that should be good.
Yeah, I saw that.
So I'll definitely make a trip for people to shut their mouths while I'm watching a movie. Chicago, Birmingham, St. Louis, Staten Island, Arlington, Grand Prairie, Texas, and Glendale, Colorado. So um, that's exciting that this chain and leave comment over there, everybody. That tell us if you've been to an Alamo Draft House, which one, and what your experience was. Um, Both Brandon and I have been to one. You went to the one in Austin, right? One of the ones in Austin,
Yeah.
and I went to one in Aurora, Colorado. So,
Aurora.
so, um, yeah, this excites me because we were talking about when they were going to build one in Raleigh, or they built one in Raleigh, but I think was that one of the ones that they shut down? I can't remember.
I don't know.
Either way, it was too far for us to really. We were going to try to do it because we had a concert we were going to go to out there, and then the world happened, and that got kind of postponed. So we were going to try to make a trip and do the concert and the Alamo Draft House, but yeah, I would definitely make the road trip to Birmingham for, of course, it had to be a pretty significant movie for me to do that.
How far is Birmingham from Atlanta?
2 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a shame, man, because they did have one in development.
Yeah.
It was Dorville. I can't remember.
Yeah,
where it was.
I think it was like Dorville or Tucker or something. I can't remember. Yeah, somewhere around there.
So close to Atlanta. But then they kind of came back on that after COVID hit.
Yeah, I'm guessing the funding or whatever. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that everybody pulled their movie dollars back significantly. So I mean, I'm excited about it either way. I mean, just the fact that anybody's building movie theaters is exciting to me.
I would definitely. I would. Yeah. No, I appreciate their business model for sure. The one that I went to was just more of a rundown one, unfortunately. So, I would be interested in going to a newer one for sure. But yeah, I love their policy. So maybe the one that was intended for Atlanta can get kind of brought back from the grave. Hey, I mean, Royston could use one. We have the space.
That would bring internet to Royston. And yeah, I can't wait for the CiNEMACHiNE nights at Alamo Draft House, the tours that we're going to have to do with the great audiences. We have been to Alamo Draft House in San Antonio, good service and good beer.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will say the service is good. It is stealth like I make the joke, but it's almost for real. I'm okay with my little movie theater. I usually get to watch the movies in an empty auditorium with no distractions. Best kind of movie theater nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah. I make the joke, but I was like watching the movie and like this hand just comes up and like takes my little order sheet and like just disappears into the darkness and then comes back and here's your food. Make sure it's on the little school desk. But yeah. It was good.
Those the desks that they had in mind just felt a little too far away. Like I had to lean up the very edge of my seat.
Yeah,
to get to them.
They didn't like hook into your seat. They were just like a school desk, like go straight and then
mine was more like a bar that was about 3 feet in front of the seating. So each row had a bar in front of them, but you had to like get on the very edge of your seat to like.
Yeah, that'd be a bit difficult, but yeah. I remember the main thing I liked about it was how they tell you don't talk and stuff. They make it like to where it's not militant. It's not like let's go out to all that stuff. They still make it into a fun little video, or they make it into like shut up kind of thing. Like it's all tongue in cheek. And
I like the old commercials that they had.
Yeah, I love that
pre-show.
Yeah. They had some cool trailers and stuff like of classic movies and for the when I went, they had Japanese movies being trailers being previewed. So it was nice. They in the lobby and everything, they just took so much care, and it was an experience from the time you pull up, the exterior, every single one of them are different, so on and so forth. So really, really do appreciate the attention to detail. Yeah, I mean it's really nice. And then they have the little souvenir shop and such, which I bought a bunch of junk that I didn't need, but I was like, I don't know if I'll ever see another one. So yeah, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, mine didn't have a lot of the like cool like themed. I mean, I guess I don't know. It wasn't really themed. It was like I said, it was older. So um like I've seen the ones and like they have a Star Wars themed one. I can't remember exactly where it is. Um and then we talked about the president's theme one that they just opened. So yeah, mine just was kind of generic, but and small, but yeah,
Definitely a
build
great
one closer.
idea. Yeah. Let's bring it back to Atlanta. But at the same time, I will go to the Birmingham. Now we got a year and a half, roughly a year and 9 months or 8 months or whatever it is. Because I don't know exactly the month they're opening it, but it looks like 2024 before the Birmingham's even open. But they have broken ground, so that's a step in the right direction. At least they've broken ground, because I don't even think they did that for the Atlanta one. I think they just had the talks and were kind of like still trying to figure out exactly where it was going to be. I think it was going to be in Doraville, like you were saying, but I don't think they actually.
Yeah,
Maybe they did purchase land. I don't know.
I'm curious to know what, and people in the chat can chime in, but like, what's your go-to theater that you have available to you? I'll go first. Mine, and it's not super close, so it's a
Okay.
couple hours
Okay.
from me.
My basement.
Is no, I mean, I do prefer that, but if I'm going to go to a theater to get like if it's a movie that's worthy of me getting out of my house, then I'm going to go to the AMC Dolby Cinema. That's about an hour and a half, 2 hours up the road from me.
Is
I
your
tend to
theater
prefer that
on Fandango
over
yet?
no. uh, I tend to prefer Dolby Cinema over IMAX usually, unless the movie was shot in IMAX. So
Which that's becoming more and more a commonality.
yeah. So but yeah, what about you? Where's your go-to? Dingy,
Theater?
dirty.
Yeah, if it's, I mean, the dirtier, the more empty, the better. I might just go start watching movies with Tony. It sounds like he's got the perfect situation. I don't know if his theater's dingy and dirty, but it sounds like it's nice, quaint little theater, and nobody's there, so that's preferred.
Well, that's perfect for him, but if you show up, then it's gonna
Yeah,
ruin
it's
it.
going to ruin it for everybody. So yeah, um, I don't know. I mean, like, it really depends on the movie, because if I'm going to go see an older movie, I kind of want to see it in an older theater.
I do
But
dig that experience. Like, I've seen one movie at the Plaza in Atlanta,
yeah,
which is a cool old school theater.
hmm
And it was an older. Well, it was The Room. Tommy Wiseau, so it was perfect.
yeah, that's
And Tommy Wiseau was there. Greg Kinnear, not Greg Kinnear.
wow. You really,
Greg Sister. I can't remember his name.
yeah.
Anyway, he plays Mark. Yeah, that was one of the most fun theatrical experiences
Yeah,
I've
I can
had.
imagine that being fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rocky Horror Picture Show, something like that would be perfect for the plaza. Now, is a clean theater with all you can eat popcorn. Now, I have a friend, his name's Bobby, and Bobby is in my movie club. And when we had Christmas movie club, I went up to the local movie theater and got Bobby 2 tubs of popcorn, because they all came over to my house for that one. And he didn't even eat dinner. He just ate a tub and a quarter of popcorn, and then I said, "You can take the other one home with you." He's like, "Yeah." So he took the other one home with him, and Anna Marie, his wife, was like, "Oh my gosh," But he loves his theater popcorn. So that sounds
Yeah,
exciting.
yeah. I mean, popcorn. It's like it goes hand in hand.
I've never
So
understood why they put the crunchiest, most ridiculously shrapnel sounding food where you're supposed to be quiet. Like who like I'm telling you, movie theaters are supposed to be a sociological experiment because like now you got people clapping. It's like let's do anything but be quiet and pay attention to the movie. You got people texting. They have the games before where people are answering out loud. Sometimes you're supposed to now sync up your phone with the games that like. It's just like oh my gosh, like like can we not just focus on what we came to watch? Seriously, this is a neighborhood. I'm the old man, I know, but it's just like seriously, why can't we have like I go to the theater because I want to shut the world off. I just don't want to, you know. So
yeah,
anyway, whatever.
I get it. Dave's on a similar playing field there. Small theater and goes to IMAX when it's a big movie. So
Yeah, so I do like the newer shiny movie theater if it's like a big deal. I'm getting more and more they do have the better technology, so I do appreciate that. There is a theater here. Remember, I am in a theater alone eating my popcorn. See, that works. That works. I'm so irritable, I tell myself to be quiet. So I usually go to AMC in Smyrna or Kennesaw, standard multiplayer. Oh, well, you and Tony might see one another.
yeah.
So,
Oh,
yeah. So,
Ryan's in Smyrna.
yeah. Yeah. There we go. I think we should just do a meetup, all the movie tubers in the Atlanta area, go see a movie together. But yeah, I don't know. I like to go to the movie theater. Period. I like the smell of the popcorn and everything. I do appreciate that the floors aren't sticky like they used to be. Remember how they used to be the joke, Um, but I do kind of miss the old school movie theaters. And I've told the story 1,000 times. I'm not gonna tell you I saw The Shining, blah blah blah, in an older theater, but um, it does add to that experience, and it's almost like a 4D experience for me in that regard. But I do like the technology advancements in the larger theaters for certain types of movies, but the majority of the movies I watch. I don't need those advancements. I just,
Yeah,
I just need
you could just
silence.
watch them with your eyes closed.
Just experience it.
Yeah,
Breathe it in, breathe it in, breathe it in, breathe in the silence.
yeah. Sticky floors. We still have one of those not too far away.
Well, I used to have a dollar theater. My mom and my sisters, we would all go to the dollar theater, and this started at a young age. Everybody, they didn't want to see what I wanted to see, so I just went and saw a movie, and they went and saw a movie. So back in those days, I went and saw Batman '89. Like seriously, roughly 25 times in the theater. I saw it in the regular theater probably 3 or 4, maybe 5 times, and then 20 plus in the dollar theater. And we saw old movies like Great Outdoors, any kind of John Hughes movie we saw. Of
Yeah,
course, I wanted to see those like 1,000 times. I can watch Uncle Buck. I can watch Uncle Buck 6 times in a row without getting tired of. Same thing with planes, trains, and automobiles. I can do that, no problem. Christmas Vacation. It's just that's my sweet spot right there. I can watch those um, ad nauseum. So uh, definitely saw those a lot. But the other movie I saw a lot as a kid, like I saw Great Outdoors a lot, but there was a movie called License to Drive. Are you familiar with this
I
movie?
do remember. I think I
With the
remember this
with the
movie.
Corys, Corey Haim and
Yeah,
Corey Feldman, and
Hellman. Yeah.
Heather Graham. Her name was Mercedes in the movie.
Hmm.
And man, I thought that was the coolest movie in the world when I was like 7 or 8 or 9 or whatever year that came out. So saw that a lot in the theater. And Caroline Kane was in that movie too, the lady from the squeaky voice from Scrooged and other movies of the 80s and 90s. So License to Drive. Yeah. So Dave gets it. I loved that movie because at the end he's like, "Why do I need that when I've got a Mercedes?" And he jumped, and it's got Billy Ocean singing in the background and such. Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah. So anyway, I like that. I'm sure that movie doesn't hold up. I'm sure it doesn't stand the test of time. But I might have to go find out because that's like a blast from that. And there's a movie that my sisters loved called "She's Out of Control" with Tony Danza. So I did have to go see their movies on occasion. That and Shag, a movie called Shag, about shag dancing in South Carolina.
Shaggy
I
Dog.
actually, I actually do like Shag. Shag's a good movie, and it was a good theater experience. It was fun. Have you ever been to the Rocky Horror Picture Show as a theater experience?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so you're
Never.
never going to understand this, but people throw stuff, squirt water guns,
I understand it.
dance,
I've been to see
sing.
The Room.
But I'm
So
saying I enjoy it. That's the part you're not going to understand. I enjoy
mm,
that because I know what I'm getting into going into it. You know, like
sure.
that's the expectation.
That's the part of the that's like, with The Room, people yell at the screen, they throw
Right.
spoons, there's an involvement, there's a participation element to it.
Yeah. Well, that's
So I
fun.
get it.
Well, so classic movies that I think are great theater experiences are movies like the big blockbuster movies, like the sci-fi movies like Star Wars and such, but Blade Runner, and they're coming out with a Blade Runner sequel show that's going to be
Hmm.
streaming. Um, so
Amazon pulling
yeah,
out all the stops.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Hope you guys like your new Amazon fees. So Ridley Scott is coming back as executive producer. They have a script written and they have a show Bible for this show. They also are talking about an Alien show as well, live action show. So
Yeah.
I don't know if this is gonna work or not. Maybe the world, fine, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I just don't see you doing it better than what the first two installments of Blade Runner have been, especially Villeneuve's version of it. It was just like almost near perfection. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'll watch it to see if it's any good, but
Yeah, they have a like an animated I don't know if it's a series. It may just be a one-off movie that just came out not too long ago. Animation looked cool. I never checked it out, but um, so that maybe they were testing the waters with that a little bit. But
yeah, it's on Hulu.
because Blade Runner 2049 very famously bombed box office wise,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's interesting that Amazon is willing to chunk out the money for a sequel to it, even though I'm excited about it. And hope that they'll do it right, but it
It seems
is
like an
could be a gamble.
expensive. Seems like yet another expensive TV show because that's a
Yeah,
lot of like CG and
depends. Yeah, I mean,
a lot of world building.
yeah, I don't know. Be
I mean,
interesting though. I mean, I'm one of the people that, just like Dave said right here, the sequel is better than the original. I agree. I appreciate the original, but it's kind of a slog of a movie, um, and does a lot of cool things. I love the practical nature of it. I watched Corridor Crew break down the visual effects
mhm.
from it. It's very impressive to see how they pulled that off back then. A lot of technical things going on, especially a lot of those like big wide city shots, lots of different exposures and different matte paintings and models and all kinds of craziness going on that they kind of were able to kind of um, bridge together seamlessly. And it still holds up for the most part. I think it's a beautiful movie, but yeah, the 2049 is definitely the one that's like above the other.
Well, I think that the technology finally caught up with the idea of the movie. You know, I think that the original one is I think the only thing you can pin the original against is the sequel. I don't think it pales in comparison to many other movies. Um, if you want to go through Ridley Scott's um, arsenal of movies, I would say it's right there with Alien. Um, I do prefer Alien over Blade Runner personally, but it's a fraction.
Yeah.
Sure, again, 2 weeks ago, both films are great to me. It
Which
really does depend
version
on
did
which
you watch,
yeah,
Tony? Because
yeah.
there's so many cuts.
And how many versions do you have?
How many
Because
versions of each cut do you have?
yeah, um, I mean, there was a Candy Rattler when we saw 2049 in theaters, so had to police that a little bit.
I
Um,
remember.
yeah,
They probably remember it too. They
remember
learned
that
their
ginger
lesson.
guy? Remember that time we saw
Listen, those
2049?
types of things, although they can come across abrasive, but I had my feet on the back of somebody's seat
Hmm.
one time when I saw a movie. I think it was Transformers,
Hmm.
and a guy got up and yelled at me.
Hmm.
Never did it again.
Yeah,
So,
I wouldn't say I yelled necessarily. I spoke firmly, maybe,
mhm.
and shared my disgust with the situation. So I watched the longest cut, and I have several versions. Kudos to you because,
Well, look at you.
oh gosh, I think that's awesome because I wish I could own. I think they actually put a lot of a couple. I think there's four cuts, five cuts of the movie. So I think they've put a couple of them out of print. So I would like to get one of each cut and watch. I think that'd be entertaining. And speaking of Blade Runner, Rutger Hauer, I watched a movie with him, and then we'll talk about it later. But uh,
Mhm.
what a movie! All right, so talking about sequels, and one movie that we all talked about liking last year was Nobody, and Nobody looks like there might be a sequel. They're really working on it. Bob Odenkirk is quoted as saying, "We are working on making that happen. Universal has been very upbeat and welcoming. Derek and I have talked story. It's not a sure thing yet, but we're working on it. I think the signs point to yes."
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like a movie that would be super expensive to make. So,
Correct.
um, and as far as it's kind of, I mean, very similar as obvious comparisons to make here, but just like John Wick wasn't a very expensive movie and it had a big groundswell, mainly on home video, I believe, and then subsequent sequels continue to make more and more money. So, um, yeah, I'd be down to see a sequel to this for sure.
I will be. I'm eager to see how it plays out, but again, um, it's very hard to pull a sequel out of this. This seems like a singularity story to me. This seems like a story that kind of. I mean, it's all about how they write it, of course, which is
Yeah,
everything. But
I think
so,
there's stuff to explore with the family element. He and RZA and Christopher Lloyd's character, like how they're that kind of like the Continental and John Wick, there being this like organization, this like co-op splinter cell type organization, just like the Continental, and the lore that goes with that. They could explore that, and yeah, I'd be down. I thought I thought Odenkirk was really great, surprisingly great, surprisingly very physical. Like his physicality was
mm.
really believable.
Have you watched any of the behind the scenes of like the film and the fight scenes and such?
And I haven't watched any of the behind the scenes on it.
Excuse me.
You should definitely check it out, Dave. It's good
Oh
stuff.
man, yeah, it's a good one. It's just a good action movie.
Yeah. Yeah, 20th and
Would be
21st
interesting. I
degrees.
love Odenkirk and Better Call Saul. Yeah, I have yet to watch Better Call Saul. I do
That's
like
one
Odenkirk
that's
though.
I do I started Better Call Saul when it first aired the first season, and because it was weekly, I got behind, and then I just haven't been able to catch up. So, not for the lack of like the fault of the series itself. It was good. I was enjoying it because I'm a big Breaking Bad fan. So I feel like it's one of those things where now that's they're what, fourth or fifth season at this point, and I'm like, oh man, there's a lot to catch up on. So
Yeah, it's not like it used to be to where you could get behind on a show and then catch up because so much is put out on a regular basis nowadays. So it's a little bit impossible at this point to catch up. So like, because by the time you want to catch up with that, 12 other shows have come out, if not more. And then you have to play favorites. So
yeah, I fall into that trap a lot.
Well, I know there's something that, and I want to hear what everybody else out there has to say, but I know that you and I are relatively excited about Stranger Things season 4. They've put out some new posters, and it's going to be broken into 2 parts. So,
yeah, season 4 they announced today. I think it's dropping on Memorial Day and 4th of July. The 2 parts.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, there were
a few different posters.
Yeah, 4 posters, 5 posters, something like that.
The 5th one's like a combination of the 4. But.
So I do hope, it's good that they're getting out of the little town and they're gonna, kind of expand on where they're going. But I have a feeling they're not going to be able to hold this cast together much longer. Just people are getting too big for the contracts. I'm sure some of these younger actors.
I think they said that the 5th season will be the last. So.
Yeah. At one time it was rumored the 4th season was going to be the last. So, so we'll see. We'll see if they actually make it to a 5th season without somebody leaving the cast. But yeah, I'm excited about it. Can't say that I enjoyed season 3. I like the mall and the aesthetic and everything, but I do feel like the first season's still the best in my opinion. First and third season.
Yeah, it's
second
1
season
3
got
2
a little bit hairy. Yeah,
for me.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed the 3rd season. It was not as good as the first, but still really, really, really good.
Oh, I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it. I'm just saying if I had to make a choice or a ranking or whatever, I would definitely rank it that way.
It was one of those things. I mean, you were over at our place when we watched like the first 4 episodes. It was 4th of July when it dropped, and it was just.
And then I left and went to the set.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just cool to have a show drop on the 4th of July, set at the 4th of July, a franchise that I'm invested in. It was just a good, I just really enjoyed that, the timing of it. And then the show was really good. I loved the season. So,
yeah. The day that I went to the mall where they had the 80s mall, it was so interesting to see how small that set was because it was a real mall. It was the old Gwinnett Mall. And, it was funny to see how small the set was first. And then by going there before I watched the rest of the season, I did see some spoilers because, if you haven't seen season 3, please stop listening now for just a second, just a split second. Okay. You know how the mall's all banged up and crashed in and all that stuff. It was crashed in. And I was like, I can't share these pictures with Brandon yet. I was like, chomping at the bit and I wanted to so bad, but yeah, not only did I do that though, I went out and bought a synthesizer that day too because I wanted to write some 80s music. So
come on, Dave, gotta get on it.
Dave, come on, what are you thinking? Well, it is hard though, like we said.
No, I get it.
You got a lot of homework to do.
I still haven't watched Indiana Jones, so
yeah,
I
there's
understand.
no excuse for that. So, a little bit of talking about 80s nostalgia and nostalgia in general. they did the one Super Bowl commercial that I did watch
Mhm.
was the Chevrolet commercial with the kids of The Sopranos.
Yeah.
I actually thought that was a pretty good commercial. They did a really good job of filming it exactly like the beginning of the
Mhm.
show. So I mean, I just thought it was a great idea for an ad, and they're really good friends in real life. They have the podcast together.
Right.
So it's really nice to see that happen. I know it's a small little thing, but I know that you weren't the biggest fan of The Sopranos, but for myself, this was
Well, it's
pretty
not.
good.
I wouldn't say I was the biggest
You
fan.
said it sucked. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
I didn't say that.
I heard you.
It was just it didn't hold up as well as a lot of people hold it in terms of growing up watching it when it aired. Like I've talked about it multiple times. I don't have to go into that again, but
don't need to be wrong again. I know.
Yeah. This is actually one of them that I actually got to catch when it dropped during the game. I didn't understand. I mean, I understood what they were doing, but I didn't understand the connection with Chevy. Like, I know they were doing a new generation thing, but I was like, did Tony drive a Silverado? And no, he didn't. But I just didn't. It felt a little forced in terms of the use
Well,
of
the
Chevy.
brand, yeah. Well, I mean,
and
I
then
think
like them just like hugging at the end, it just felt a little forced to me. I don't know. Ryan was a big fan of it.
Tony Soprano drove a Chevy Suburban. Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Suburban and Silverado are not the same thing.
No,
they still make Suburbans.
They're Chevy. They're saying a new generation is driving Chevy.
Oh, I get it. I get it.
Good Lord. I'm not even a Chevy guy, and I'm talking about this.
But most of these Super Bowl like tie-in things are forced. I mean, the Cable Guy one was.
I didn't see that one.
Austin Powers one. The Cable Guy one made more sense. As to why you use the Cable Guy. The Austin Powers one was cool to see, but the connection there was a little okay, whatever.
I don't even know if I've heard like seriously, I haven't heard anybody. Usually the next day, the day after the Super Bowl, everybody's talking about the commercial. Oh, did you see? And I haven't heard it. Like, you're seriously telling me stuff that I didn't even know happened. So what was the Cable Guy one?
It was was it a Verizon 4G? It was one of the like home like internet based plans, like a Uverse or something. I don't remember which exactly one it was, but yeah, it was him like questioning them, like about this new tech that he was like, oh, it's gonna, they're gonna lock you into a contract. I love those. And then they're like, nope, no contract. It's one of those type of things.
Okay.
But yeah, take it easy, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Thanks for
Have
joining
a great
us.
weekend. But yeah. So I mean, that is to be expected with these ads. They're typically like obviously tongue in cheek, but also can be a little left field seeming. And the Sopranos one, I agree that they did do a good job recreating that intro.
Yeah.
I just didn't understand the reasoning behind it besides the new generation. And I wonder if a lot of people that watch Sopranos even recognize that those were the actors from the series, because they don't look like themselves. Well, maybe the daughter looks like herself a little bit, but
I would imagine
AJ doesn't at all. So,
well, you didn't watch to the end.
I guess that's true.
Yeah, he went through puberty on the show, Brandon. So he looked like he was thin by the end of the show.
Okay.
Yeah. He also had some drug addiction issues going on, but thanks for bringing that up, Brandon.
Well, I've heard him talk about that. Well, I stand corrected, but either way, I just didn't understand the Chevy connection. but
They drive Chevys.
all right, Dalia.
Is that? Oh, okay. All right.
He just has those mannerisms.
That doesn't. All right. So we'll talk about this and we'll get into trailers. Paramount movies will stream exclusively on Paramount Plus by 2024. Now, in March, Jackass Forever and Scream will be streaming over there. So it looks like I'm gonna have to get a trial of Paramount Plus. That's the only one I haven't tried yet.
I think I mentioned this. I wasted mine on Clifford the Big Red Dog. So we didn't even finish it. My kids, they couldn't even keep my kids' attention span. So
that makes sense. Something. Yeah, that movie looked like a pooper.
It's big poop, big dog.
Big, yeah, man. I'd hate to see the baggies. Got to carry around like a parachute.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I have not tried out Paramount Plus, but it looks like, I mean, every time I hear something about them, they're really trying to bring in an audience. So kudos.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with the Halo series coming out on it. I'm interested with that, but yeah, definitely I do want to see Jackass Forever, and I don't think I'll be able to make it to a theater at this point.
Yeah, you know, I want to go to a theater. Here's the thing: I want to go see it, but I don't want anybody to talk during it. And I know that's one of those ones everybody's going to talk. And
that's the fun about those movies, though. That's a communal, theatrical, just roarous, you know,
maybe
experience. That's the reason why I wanted to see it opening weekend. So if I see it at home, I want to have people over to watch it because I just think it would be a fun group movie to watch.
I'd come to your theater to watch it.
Collective experience.
If I were allowed. I would
You're allowed.
They would have a vote before, is Al coming? I'm not. All right, let's talk about some trailers. How about that? Let's get into them. Now, the winning time, the rise of the Lakers dynasty. This trailer has popped up like 30 times in front of YouTube videos and stuff. They're really pushing this. I know that you're not the biggest sports guy, but I think you watched basketball back in this era with Michael Jordan. Well, not this era because it was
not this era,
but shortly after this era.
Yeah.
So are you interested in this at all?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Well, so I don't know a lot about this era. I mean, I know Magic Johnson, but I don't know. It was
basically Johnson and Bird at that point.
I know those two names. I know who they are, obviously, but
I'm guessing that's supposed to be Jerry Buss. Is that who that's supposed to be?
I think so.
Yeah.
I like the way this is filmed. It definitely feels like that era. Super grainy and retro looking. I dig that. It doesn't have that doesn't seem to have that like nice sheen that a lot of movies nowadays have that are set in this time period.
Right. Like we always say, this movie looks lived in, looks dirty, grungy.
Yeah.
The 80s were dirty and grungy.
Yeah. I don't know if they shot this on film or post-processed it to make it look like it. Probably post-processed, I imagine.
I would imagine,
yeah. Only a handful of people are allowed these days to shoot on film. It's so expensive. So, but I mean, I love John C. Reilly, so I'll watch him in anything.
Yeah, it's very rare that I dislike, what he's watched. So Dave is coming back in. He's talking about Jackass, I'm guessing. He said that he saw it a couple weeks ago, and three of us went. I hadn't laughed like that for a while.
Yeah, so I can imagine.
Good to hear.
That's what I was talking about when I think we both talked about this when it was about to come out, like just wanting to see a movie like that.
Yeah, just want to forget life for a while. Like, everything's been kind of hectic, and I don't have a therapist, so it works out. The movies are my therapist. They won't quit on me. All right, so
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm interested. It's on HBO Max, so I have HBO Max. So yeah, I'll probably be checking it out.
I know we have a lot of these on the list, but I haven't had a chance to watch them all just because I usually have time to watch them all, but I'm gonna bring up the ones I have watched. All right, so we can talk about them, and we'll talk about the other ones next week. How about that? All right,
Sure.
I'll watch them. I promise. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I guess I have seen a Super Bowl commercial. Another one.
Dave's not a Lakers fan, so he's out.
Go Spurs. Go. Kidding. I did love Lakers Showtime era.
Go Spurs. Tim Duncan, that's my relative.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Different mothers.
Right. Yeah. Uncle Timmy. Yeah, I lived out in LA during the days that it was the Spurs and the Lakers, like Derek Fisher days of the Los Angeles Lakers, the Kobe, Shaq, Derek Fisher, all that. And I am not a basketball guy by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm going to be honest with you. People are so rabid in their fandom out there. And my uncle really was like big into it. And it was kind of fun just to be in the element. And I really liked Derek Fisher. I thought he was cool. So I gravitated towards him. So, all right. So Sonic the Hedgehog 2, I'm eager to see this movie. I'm not going to say like it's like
Henry's looking for Tim. So if anybody's seen him,
Tim,
direct Tim to Henry.
Oh, hang on. Oh, we found him. Tim Duncan is from my hometown. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Did I not say Tim Duncan? What did I say?
You just said Tim. No, you did, but you said Tim. I think he was just saying. Laughter is the best therapy. Alan helped me. Yeah. So I agree. And where is Ryan when you need him? At home with a mop.
Fixing his house. He had a hot water heater break.
Yeah. So
our Patreon dollars are going to his hot water heater this month.
Yeah. I was gonna play the drop. I'm glad you're dead, but I'm not going to. So, all right. So yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Again, I like the first one just fine. I hope that they just stay with the silliness in this one. Idris Elba doesn't seem like the right voice to me, but I'll take it.
It's interesting because the first trailer, I guess they hadn't gotten Idris had already been cast when that trailer came out, but I guess they hadn't recorded anything with him because it was a different voice in the little brief dialogue that they had for Knuckles.
Yeah.
I mean, Idris has got a good voice, but I don't remember what Knuckles sounded like in the games or cartoon.
I don't remember what he sounded like, but I was a big fan of these games. And that's not why I'm excited. I think excited might be too big of too lofty of a word. I'm eager to see it, but I'm not going to go see it in theater. I can guarantee that. I'll wait till it comes home to like I didn't buy the first Sonic movie, just to let you know. I did watch it, rented it one night, and my sister and her family watched it, and then I watched it. And that's how I saw it. But I thought it was structured pretty well for a family movie, and I enjoyed it. So I want to see this one.
Yeah, it's probably one of the better video game adaptation movies, and it's just it's good family fun. So.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to something for the adult crowd in the movie Nope. They are really pushing this movie, understandably so. You know, he really has made a name for himself in the horror world. Did you ever see Get Out or Up or what was Us? Not Up.
Us. No, I haven't seen
Okay.
Up. I've seen Up.
Yeah, Up. Yeah, that was Jordan Peterson. Not Jordan Peterson. What's his name? Jordan Peele. Yeah, that was Jordan Peele. Up. He was a Pixar director before he did horror films. I can't say that I like his movies personally. It's nothing against. I like him. I like him and I like his wife. His wife's pretty funny too. But it's just not my style of movie. I don't think I think people are kind of pushing him into a great director role before he really has proven himself to me personally.
He's
And
kind of
I
been
don't
put
know.
in that Shyamalan
Yeah.
seat that he
Yeah.
was put in right after Sixth Sense. The Sixth
Yeah.
Sense.
And I understand the eagerness to put him there. I get it. But yeah, I I don't know. Are you wanting to see this after seeing the trailer or
This one looked more interesting to me than the last two. I'll say that. That he's put out.
Dave, if I had kids, I'd take them to see this. Are you talking about Nope? Or are you late to the Sonic party? 'Cause-
He's probably. I hope he's talking about Sonic.
oh, that's funny. Um,
Yeah, I do. I mean, I did like the trailer. I thought it was a good trailer for Nope.
yeah, I mean,
So
I can see why people are wanting to see it. It's just me personally. It's just not my type of thing. So, um,
mm,
and also I
yeah,
thought Get Out was way overrated. I just thought people really glommed onto that and wanted to make it something that it wasn't theatrical. Like it wasn't this great script or anything. It was an okay movie. It was okay. It wasn't bad. It was just okay. But the hype that people gave that movie made me kind of almost dislike. It was just a hype. And he did he tried to revamp the Twilight Zone and it was terrible. And I was a big fan of Twilight Zone back in the day, but um
well, yeah. I mean, he was a producer on that, though, right? Not a like.
well, he was very
He's had a lot
instrumental.
of front like he's kind of also had that Steven Spielberg. I'm gonna put my name on a lot of things.
Yeah,
In
yeah, yeah.
addition,
And good for him. I really do hope that things keep going the way that he needs them to go. But and I wish him all the best, and I hope that he does make something that I really want to see one day. But me personally, right now, just not my jam. So uh, anyway, so whatever. Is anybody out there? I couldn't agree more. Get Out is overrated. Thank you. Yeah, Sonic. Okay. So my dad, I saw a bunch of horror movies and stuff when I was a kid. We had, I've told the story. We had a video store at the end of my neighborhood, and we'd walk up there and get movies without our parents knowing, and just kind of camp out in some like whoever's house we were at that day would camp out in their bedroom and like watch the movies like we weren't supposed to watch. So we watched a lot of horror movies at a very young age. Um, yeah. Sonic surprised a lot of people. I enjoyed definitely going to see Sonic 2. Yeah, it surprised me. So, Al, you got to start them young. I agree. I agree. If you really look at 80s movies in general, we'll take Gremlins or Gremlins. We'll take Gremlins. And Gremlins is to children audiences of today would be a horror movie. Like if that movie came out today, people would see that as you know, I don't know, they would see that as a horror movie. They would see that as probably it would more than likely be rated R. It was rated G back then. So that tells you everything. But that was instrumental in the PG-13 coming out. So
yeah,
okay. All
yeah,
right.
it's good to test the waters with your kids, see what they can take. They'll let you
Well,
know.
my older sister, we watched Jaws when, gosh, I saw RoboCop in the theater when I was 8. So if that tells you anything, and it was rated NC-17 or something at the time. I can't remember what it was rated, but it was an R because it was so gory and bloody. And then we watched Jaws at home before that. And my sister was terrified to go near the sink. She thought Jaws was going to come out of the faucet. So to this day, I still laugh at that. She was terrified of that and the Wicked Witch of the West in Wizard of Oz. You can still do the laugh, the witch laugh to my sister, and it makes her kind of wince. So, all right. So, the only other trailer on here that I've seen is Elvis. Is there another one you want to talk about?
I mean, we don't know. We don't have
Okay.
to. We can.
I'll watch
hold
the other ones for next
later
week.
if you haven't seen.
Elvis. This is Baz Luhrmann, right? Directed this. It's a musical, the Elvis movie, and this guy does not look like Elvis Presley.
That was my takeaway as well.
Like you've got the one person that has so many impersonators out there, like thousands, probably the most impersonated person out there in the history of man, probably. And the people make full on careers out of, and you got this guy that doesn't look anything like Elvis, that has none of the facial features of Elvis whatsoever. The guy, okay, I'll give it to you. The guy that played Elvis in Forrest Gump, now, although it wasn't like full on, it was more convincing than this, So
yeah, I was more. I don't know this actor, but I was more excited when they were kind of rumoring that is it Miles Teller was in talks or maybe being considered.
I could totally see that. He
has
looks
more
like Elvis.
Yeah. And he's musical. He was in Whiplash. He has that, he's got those sensibilities. So I don't know. Yeah, but that was my takeaway. I mean, I just don't see this guy as Elvis. He doesn't
He
resemble him. And I know that that's only part of it, but that's a big part. So
yeah, I mean, you can do the hair all you want to, and you can shake your hips all you want to, but sorry. I was out before this even when they said it was going to be a musical, and also I've seen enough about Elvis. I don't need to know anything else about Elvis. I know, I know enough about Elvis. I've seen documentary after documentary. So, we used to sneak
reference to your
cable. So, Hamburger, the motion picture, joystick, dude. Now you're talking my language. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be seeing this movie. I appreciate Elvis just fine, but this guy's not Elvis. Sorry, you're not convincing me.
I'm not opposed to the whole musical element. I do like a few of the Baz Luhrmann.
Yeah, so Brandon had to drop out for a second, but a huge Elvis fan, but don't know about this. I totally agree. This is not great. Brandon, Elvis's people came after you, killed your internet for a second, so you're back.
Not sure what happened.
Dave was saying that he is not he's a huge fan of Elvis, but doesn't know about this. I would not buy this for $1, Dave. So, yeah. Also, Dave, and anybody else out there that wants to answer this, don't you believe, if you're a huge Elvis fan, don't you believe there's better and there's enough information out there about Elvis, and there's better versions of his story that have been told already? And I mean, Kurt Russell played Elvis one time, and it was fantastic. So
fantastic.
Just saying.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, there's one strike against it with this guy. He just doesn't look like Elvis. The other strike is Tom Hanks doing this.
Yeah,
the Colonel voice, but still Tom Hanks. Like it's hard. It feels like, because I know Tom Hanks in so many different movies, it just feels a little. It's a little in your face. That accent.
Yeah. So don't care, especially with being a musical. I thought it would have been like Pam and Tom, Tommy type story. Yeah, I think Elvis has a great story, but I'm also not the biggest Baz Luhrmann fan. I don't know. It's just not my. It just all things point to nope. for me on this. Not the movie, nope. But
It's a maybe to nope for Al. It's a
yeah,
nope to Elvis.
yeah, it's a 100%. Um, it kind of feels like some of the wardrobe they had in the the Elvis movie trailer was like, I don't know, it was out of character. Like that picture you showed, he was like wearing lace or something. I don't know, like a Elvis was a very flashy uh dresser and everything, but I mean, he was very, started a whole trend and everything. But yeah, I don't know. I do find it interesting. My mom saw Elvis in concert when she was younger, and it sounded like a great time. I'll tell you that. So I think that would have been interesting. So
Yeah.
anyway, well, let's talk about what we've
Indeed.
seen this week. Brandon, you want to tell us what you've seen this week?
Sure. Well, I'm still watching Righteous Gemstones. I think we have one episode left,
Mm-hmm.
and it's still at like this last episode fired on all cylinders for me, especially in the Walton Goggins department. It was freaking amazing. So yeah, if you're not watching Righteous Gemstones and I'm going to preface this to you, Al. Obviously,
Yeah.
if you don't like Danny McBride, don't watch this show because you're not going to like it.
That's
But I
the
do
number
like
one
Danny
reason I'm
McBride.
not watching. Yeah.
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 But it's great, and I'm happy I got renewed for a third season. So yeah, and then we finished season 3 of Ozark and started season 4. Ryan kind of motivated me to finish Ozark or finish season 3 and get caught up.
Mm.
Seemed like this last season was pretty strong, or this half of the 4th season. They're releasing it in 2 halves.
Mm.
Must be the new Netflix thing to do now. But yeah, I thought the 3rd season was a little convenient at times. Convenience probably the best word to use for it. It just felt a little like things just happened too conveniently as far as the narrative that they chose. And by the end of it, what should have been a very powerful emotional moment for me, it landed a little flat because of one of the characters that I was just done with. So I still enjoyed these characters overall and the story. It's a very Breaking Bad story, but kind of with gasoline poured on top of it, just like right out the gate. And it it's a really good show, but it's just the 3rd season was just not. It was kind of stocked down for me, but we did start season 4 last night, and it seems like it's going in a direction that I can get behind. So I am interested to see how that all plays out, because I have heard that it is really good. So hopefully I will feel the same. And that's honestly it for me. I haven't watched anything else. Ryan had watched Pam and Tommy, which maybe that was the when Dave was referencing Pam and Tommy, or no, Henry was referencing Pam and Tommy.
Yeah.
We did advertise that we were going to talk about that, but since he's not here, I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he seemed to be into it, and it's on my list, my ever-growing list of things to watch, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. So what about yourself, Al?
I was in a very Al mood for movies. I watched a movie called Rubber. Have you ever seen Rubber? Do you
I have not seen Rubber.
Do you know what
No.
Rubber's about, Brandon? This is a movie that I've been wanting to see for a long time, and it was streaming, so I was like, oh, finally, yeah, I'll watch that. So
it's about a tire that kills people.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Oh man.
And it's so goofy, and I mean, it's not the greatest movie in the world, but it is just silly and entertaining. the whole movie is like this group of spectators, and they're just like watching this tire go around, and the tire just starts shaking and has like some kind of like telekinetic energy and like will explode people and kill them, and it's just so outlandish. Do you remember the movie a couple years ago? It was called Mandibles, about the people that trapped the big fly. It was in 2020. Trapped the big fly
Yeah.
in the trunk of the car.
I didn't see it, but yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking
Remember the
about.
trailer.
Same director.
Okay.
So I'm eager to see Mandibles, and that is playing on Hulu right now. So I'm gonna go watch that as well. So
That one I
in a
was
very
interested in.
yeah, I'm in this.
Is this one
mood.
foreign language as well? Wasn't
No, this is
Mandibles
all
foreign
English.
language?
I don't know if Mandibles is foreign language or not.
Seemed like it was like French or something.
I think it is French. I think the filmmakers and I think the people in the movie are French. But anyway, either way, I'm still going to watch it. This movie, if you're in a weird movie mood, I highly suggest it. This movie was kind of like a little bit of a darling for the critics a while back when it first came out. So, 11 years ago. So, what's funny is they released it on April 1st, April Fool's Day. That's very, very funny. So, anyway, so I was still in a weird mood. Anybody in the comments seen Rubber?
I want to know how many copies of this Tony owns.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So then I was in a quirky mood, and I watched another little bit of a critical darling. Have you ever heard of Hobo with a Shotgun?
I have heard of it.
Okay, so this is
I
Rutger
remember
Hauer.
this cover art.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you need to watch this movie. This movie's great. This movie is so bad it's good. But this is the same director that made Turbo Kid, that movie I keep pushing on you guys and you haven't seen. This movie, it's very distracting. The the color correction in the beginning, it looks like a 90s music video. Everything's ramped up, like exposure. The greens are like emerald.
Yeah.
It simmers down a touch, but it does add to the movie. I'll just tell you the first scene in the movie, and I'll tell you a little bit more, but I'm not going to spoil anything. This movie starts out with one of the guys from the Trailer Park Boys. He's running down the street, and he's got a manhole cover around his neck, and he's running down the street like, "Somebody help me! Somebody help me!" And they live in this town where everybody's just terrible. Like they have like a crime boss, and he's like real cheesy, like that kind of thing. He's got two sons that are kind of like his henchmen and whatnot. They're the heir to the throne, if you want to look at it that way. And anyway, this guy with the manhole cover, nobody's helping him because they don't want to be hurt themselves. No to Rubber. Yeah. So yeah, I figured. So but anyway, they get him over to a manhole, and they kick his legs out from underneath him. He goes down the manhole and he's like, I can't feel my legs. Pretty much, I'm guessing broke his spine at that point. And it's like a comedy. That's the thing. This whole movie's like a dark comedy. And they put a rope around his head and tie that to a truck. And he's like, I'm your favorite uncle to the kids. And they're like, I don't have a favorite uncle. It's their uncle. And they back the truck up, and his head comes off, and blood like starts comically spraying everywhere like a sprinkler. And this lady starts dancing in it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm in for the long haul. So, I was clapping. No, I'm just kidding. So, this movie is not, again, it's not like technically sound or anything. But the thing about the shotgun, everything in this movie is it's so crazy. Like every time you hear the shotgun go off, it sounds like 4 cannons at one time. It's like, pow, pow, And anytime you shoot somebody, their intestines just blow out of their body. So it's hilarious. But I highly suggest this movie to anybody that likes like RoboCop or the Grindhouse double feature that Rodriguez and Tarantino did. Um, this movie is definitely worth a watch. I would highly suggest watching this with friends. Um,
Mhm.
I do see more guys liking this movie. Not to say that ladies won't, but I don't think this is a good movie to like say, "Hey, uh, we're on a first date or first time we watch movies." Don't watch. Don't be like, "Hey, this guy on the show told me to watch this movie." It will end your relationship. So, um, but no, it's lots of red and but it's highly entertaining and I want to go watch Turbo Kid again. And I highly suggest Turbo Kid to everybody. That movie is an absolute blast. If you like 80s nostalgia and weird, quirky, bloody, like comically bloody movies like Tarantino for Inglourious Bastards or you know for the end of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and stuff like that. This is right up there,
Yeah.
and it's just I don't know. This is hilarious. This movie has scenes in it that are just like, how did they? What were they thinking? So highly suggest it. I had fun watching. It's only an hour and a half. It's a very quick hour and a half. Um, it honestly feels like it's over before you're even concerned with the time. Um,
Yeah.
and some of the people in the movie are extremely Canadian, so if their accents get on your nerves, like I don't know, but yes. Oh, sorry. Rutger Hauer is in this. Yes, Rutger Hauer is the hobo. So, um, if nothing else, watch the trailer for this movie, please. 'Cause it drew me in immediately. I like these kind of. This kind of movie excites me. So these two movies, very
This
excited about
seems
it.
like a red letter media recommendation.
I don't know if they've ever even reviewed. I'm sure they have. I can't remember. I do like them, but I don't know if they've reviewed. I know that they are the ones that turned me on to Turbo Kid. I'll say that.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, this movie's great. It was on Hulu, I believe, or no, HBO Max. It was on HBO Max.
Yeah.
So anyway, highly suggest seeing Hobo with a Shotgun. If you're gonna watch one of the two movies, I suggest I would say Hobo with a Shotgun before Rubber. Rubber is one of those movies that you're never going to want to watch it again, ever, but it's worth watching at least once. And if nothing else, this guy needs to write a book on how to sell a movie because dude sold the idea of he got people to invest in an idea of a killer tire. That's brilliant. Like that and the whole movie is mocking Hollywood, really. So it's breaking the fourth wall. Rubber, Hobo with a Shotgun is fun. There's a lawnmower scene in Hobo with a Shotgun. I'm not going to spoil. Uh, yeah, just watch Hobo with a Shotgun and let me know what you think. All right, so it's free to watch on HBO Max.
You have homework now.
Yeah. Double feature, Rubber, Shotgun, and then call your mom and tell her that you've made bad choices in life. So it's like it works out. All right,
You're gonna
so
lose Patreon money.
yeah. um, I did grab some physical media this week. Did you grab any?
Nope, I don't think so.
I went and I
Not
saw
this week.
our friend Sean over at Comeback Vinyl, and I got two
Nice.
records. Yeah, got two records. I got Tusk by Fleetwood Mac, so I'm pretty excited about that. There we go. And I
Nice.
also they were playing this in the store. I'm a fan of the Flaming Lips, but I didn't know I wanted it until I heard them playing this in the store. So they totally got me. King's Mouth by Fleetwood Mac. This is a really good album.
Flaming Lips.
Yeah, Flame. What did I say?
You said Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, did I? I'm sorry. Well, they're both FLs, so I apologize. Thank you. But this album is I was literally thinking about putting puzzles together while listening to this in the store. So very excited about this album. So that's what I picked up while I was out there. It was good to see Sean. We talked about Nine Inch Nails a little bit. So he's a Nine Inch Nails fan, as am I. And they have
Nice.
yeah, they had they had quite a few more. Now here's the thing. I went in because you and Ryan own that Greta Van Fleet album. Okay.
Yep.
All right. I went in to buy that album. They have that album. They have the version of the album that I was going to buy. Totally didn't buy that album. I'm walking down the street because you have to park, like, it's just parking there on a corner of a little downtown. Park down the street, walk. I'm down the street. I'm like, so then I start walking back towards the store. I'm like, no. So I walk back. I'm like, oh, I just won't buy it today. So then I walk back towards the car. And then I'm like, yeah, I should just go ahead and get it. Walk back. I'm like, no. So now I'm the crazy person in the middle of the street. Like, people are like, what's wrong with this guy? It's like, just walking around like, I don't know. Should I go back? Or I'm doing like hand gestures and stuff like that. So, oh, you aren't lying about the color correction. I'm guessing you watched the trailer, or did you watch the movie, Dave?
He already watched the movie. We've been recording very long.
Yeah. She's already knows I make bad choices. Yeah, my mom calls me her bad choice. Anyway, all right, Brandon, what do we have coming out this week?
So I guess the two theatrical things that are coming out would be that Channing Tatum movie Dog and Uncharted, both coming out in cinemas. But then I did see that Kingsman is going to be on Hulu.
Wow.
The Kingsman. Sorry.
Yeah, how dare you?
So yeah. Myself,
Dog's gonna be in theaters, right?
Dog's in theaters, yeah.
No, you're gonna go to theaters to see it, right?
No. I'm not gonna see it. No, but I may go see Uncharted actually because I got a free ticket to it, and Luna has been playing the video game with me, and so I think it might be fun to take her to see it.
Yeah, it looks pretty bad. I don't even know anything about the video game, but just the trailer.
Yeah, I love the video games.
It's pretty bad.
I've been playing through the fourth one again, and she's been doing that with me, and my nephews have been coming over and playing it some, so they're all into the characters. So I don't have a lot of like high hopes for it, especially. Well, I think I talked about this previously, either here or Camcast, but Wahlberg as Sully doesn't work at all. I don't understand why. I know that David O. Russell was supposed to make this movie years and years ago, and Wahlberg was going to play Drake, who now is being played by Tom Holland, and De Niro was going to play Sully, which would have made more sense. Still not sure about. Even Wahlberg as Drake, not so sure about. But I don't know. Wahlberg's just being Wahlberg, and so it is what it is. But I am interested in seeing the Kingsman.
Yeah, I'll watch that. He has it on now. Awesome. That's awesome. I really want to hear what you think. That makes me feel good that you're watching that. Well, yeah, I want to watch the Kingsman. I'll watch it, being that it's going to be on Hulu. I almost went and saw it in theaters one day. I was just passing the theater. I was like, oh, I want to go see a movie. And I just couldn't make myself pay to see that movie. It just doesn't look like it's going to live up to the others. But I'm hoping. Dog, I honestly don't think I've ever been rooting for a movie to tank as bad as that one. That movie looks so terrible. And Uncharted, it just looks like paint by numbers movie. It just looks
I can
like,
see. I mean, it kind of is.
Even the poster is formulaic.
It's I mean, which the video game is very much an homage to like Tomb Raider and Indiana Jones and things like that. So this movie is kind of just it is kind of a paint by numbers Indiana Jones, Pirates of the Caribbean type movie. So at least what it seems to be by the trailers. But I think my kid will enjoy it. So and I got a free ticket for upgrading my Uncharted 4 on PS5. So might as well take her to see it. So they got me.
Gotcha. Well, awesome. Well, how about we tell everybody how they can get in touch with us before we get out of here? Brandon, you want to do that?
Sure. You can find pretty much everything that's under the CineMachine umbrella at cinemachinepod.com. Links for YouTube and Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We're also on Patreon at CineMachinePod, and probably going to be the most active on the CineMachine front on Instagram, and then Capecast is on the Twitter front. That's kind of how we've kind of split it up. But hit that subscribe bell or the subscribe button and do the notification thingies that you do when you do the YouTube videos and such. And see, Ryan usually does this, and I do this. So there you go.
Sorry, Brandon. Well, you did a great job, Brandon.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
I made Alan do it.
I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me.
What are you?
I'm
Oh, what a good one. Good job, Brandon.
That triggers me now, seeing Keaton as Batman. We'll get into that on Capecast on Monday or Tuesday. Lots to unpack there.
So do you now hate 89 and Returns?
No, I don't. I could never hate those movies, but I just hate WB.
Where did WB touch you? Where did WB touch you on the doll? Show us.
Where did they not?
Bend over and I'll show you. So, well, guys and gals, thank you so much for tuning in to yet another CineMachine. Everybody, be sure to pour into the Patreon. Ryan's going to need it. He's getting pretty much half of his house new, so it's going to be good. But I'm sure he'll be back at ASAP. Of course, we missed him, and Brandon, it's been fun talking to you about movies. So
indeed, thanks everybody for tuning in. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and for all those of you that are going to watch Hobo with a Shotgun, please let us know. Save your reviews and let us know exactly what you thought of it, because I'm eager to know if you hate me or are glad you watched it. So anyway, all right, thanks everybody. Continue to watch lots and lots of movies. Until next time, we'll see you on the next CineMachine.